with Sherry from Storehouse Media. Sherry, how are you? And our topic today we're going to talk about, which is really cool, is why is it the right time now to write your book?
It's always the right time to write a book, right? I mean, always. And the thing is people procrastinate, and sometimes it's just they don't have time, or they just can't manage to find the time, or they're just got that deer caught in headlights. Like, I don't even know where to start. So, thankfully, there's people around who can help, get you started, at least get you, that door opened. But you don't put it off. That's my thing. I say there's a lot of books in graveyards because a lot of people have a lot of intention of moving forward. But if you keep procrastinating, it may be too late.
Yeah, it seems like it. It's if you procrastination can be a problem. And what do you see? Do you see when you talk to people, so many people just don't want to start it, right? And they need someone like you, right? They're just scared
Yeah.
to write it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'll meet somebody and they're like, "Oh, you write books, you publish books. Yeah, I've got a book I want to write." And then they'll talk to me and they'll get all excited. And they're like, "Yeah, I'm going to do it." And then maybe I'll run into them or something a year later. I'm like, "Well, how's that book going?" And they want to change the subject. And you know that they haven't started. It's just that tomorrow just keeps getting put off. And I tell you a really quick story. My mother, all growing up and into my adult years, kept saying, "I want to write a book. I want to write a book." And it was just this, the way she would say it was so dreamy like. And then she ended up getting cancer, and she would say, "I never got to write my book. I never got to write my book." And then she ended up dying, and no, she never got to write a book. I never got to read the words she wanted to share. The world never got to read the words she wanted to share. So, don't let that be you. If you've got a book inside of you, you know and you can't get started, reach out, get help, even if it's just to get off the ground.
Totally. Reach out and get help and to start to get it off the ground because you need to talk to somebody about all the ins and outs of publishing a book. And maybe you thought it was too much. Maybe you thought it'd be too expensive, or maybe you thought it would take too much time. Maybe you thought, I am not a writer, but I have a great story. Everyone has that great story.
That's right. That's right. And there's a lot of people that they need help. They need coaching. That's okay. They need hand holding. They need somebody to write their book for them. That's okay. And there's a lot of people that they do figure out, like, I'm going to write a book and I know I'm going to figure out how to do this. And so and then they go back and they have somebody professional look it over to help them get it together. But I've had people come to me and say, "I've got a story. Here it is." It'll be 3 pages, and they'll be, "Lord, that's all I could come up with." And there'll be 25 years of a prolific career, and they could come up with 3 pages. So, it's getting that person to help you take that little bit of content you have and to expand it and grow it.
To this giant uh, thing. And I think that once people write a book, it's they never regretted writing it, right? Especially coming through you. It's
Yeah. Yeah. And I tell people, be careful when you go and you do this. Make sure you do your due diligence. Check out the person, who you're going to, you know, uh, get to help you, because remember that book that's going to have your name on it forever and ever and ever. Amen. So you want to make sure that if you go out and hire somebody, you do check them out and check reviews or whatever you can before moving forward.
absolutely because if you don't do that, the horror stories come, and then you have a book. And I think that people don't understand what when you put it on Amazon, Amazon takes a look at all of your book and they decide if they want to even let people see it, right?
Amazon is, if you publish through a publisher and you go through like Ingram or another distributor like that, Amazon is, my experience has been they've been pretty good at taking them. But they do go through the layout of your book. You want to make sure that when you get it published, that the layout is done correctly, because they will reject it. They will reject if the fonts aren't right, or if they're not embedded right. It's a whole thing. So that's where you want to come in. You want to get some professional to help you make sure that your book doesn't get rejected for those, reasons such as embedded fonts, or something with the
And poorly
publishers.
written books don't go far out on the platform of Amazon or those
They
different
don't.
places.
They don't. You get a lot of bad reviews, and I've gone through and I've seen some really poorly written books. And it's sad because you could tell it's a good book, but it wasn't edited. And the book just loses its credibility. The author will lose credibility. So don't cut corners is my suggestion. And when you have those negative reviews, it's not good. It's not good on a lot of different levels.
All right. Well, I mean, such great tips, and people could contact you right now and schedule a call with you today, right?
They could. They could.
By
I'd
going to
love it.
storehousemediagroup.com and schedule a call with Sherry today. I mean, and you'll talk to them. You'll have a conversation.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
Appreciate it, Sherry. All
Thanks,
right. That was a
Neil.
special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show.